All right, guys, we got to talk about the Denver situation because if you guys think the whole migrant thing is only in Chicago and New York City, you're wrong because Denver right now is going all out for the migrant situation. Denver program that pays homeless people in their city a monthly income is now open to migrants. So essentially, Denver right now is literally stretching themselves thin. And I'm not going to tell you what's going on in Denver. I'm sure a lot of people there are already talking about it on Twitter. Nobody is happy, guys. Denver doesn't even have enough money to pay their own people. And now they're about to start paying the migrants as well. It's honestly just a big sanctuary city now. And are the residents happy? Absolutely not. Check this out. Denver health is at critical points. Guys, this city isn't made for an extra, 30 to 50,000 people. It's made for just 700,000 people. And when you have a sudden inflow of people that need medical attention because these migrants travel very long distances, okay, they're packed in cars. Now, the Denver health system, they are turning away local residents because they are flooded with migrant visits. They don't have enough personnel. And this is what happens when you have almost 50,000 people who suddenly go into the city in just a span of a few months. And like I said, many of these guys actually need medical attention. Not really sure when the world's going to go on with all these sanctuary cities. Essentially, a lot of these cities are just taking themselves out. If you just type in Denver migrant hotels, this is a story that you get everywhere. And people even call this almost like an invasion, essentially. And they have to turn away local residents who actually need medical attention. Now, if Denver prepared for this, if they have shelters ready, if they had expanded the hospital, and they took in like 5,000, 7,000 migrants, and life was about the same, I don't think a lot of people complain. But even some of the hardcore Democrats right now in the city are complaining a lot, and I don't blame them. Considering that the city only has 710,000 people, with usually just a slow trickle of people coming into Denver, now suddenly have to cope 40,000 whopping migrants. In fact, it's getting so bad, despite Denver wanting to be a sanctuary city. Starting February 5th, Denver will start limiting the amount of days migrants to stay in shelters and sending those who exceed their stay out onto the streets. Guys, Denver is one of like the last holdouts. I don't know if you guys have ever been to the city, but it's actually fairly nice. You know, you got like the mountains. The downtown area is actually beautiful. You have very nice skyscrapers. And the homeless situation in Denver really isn't as bad as, for example, the Bay Area or Seattle. There's still like a few thousand homeless individuals, but they're taken pretty well care of. There's shelters. They even get like a basic income. And Denver overall is pretty peaceful, but now 40, 50,000 migrants suddenly flooded in. Hospitals are full. We're already seeing a lot of public services are full. And we're also seeing many of the local residents are not happy at all. And the migrants will also be getting the income, which, by the way, I'm not really sure if Denver even has the budget for that. And it's getting so bad that now the streets of Denver are slowly being piled up with tents. Business owners and residents alike are not happy, especially with how the city is dealing with things. And it's not just Denver, guys. New York City is also getting themselves into a pretty big pickle here. City officials in New York provides little details on daily migrant spending, but the city has spent more than $2 billion and it's expected to spend $12 billion in the next 3 years. And the city council is like, why are we doing this? Some of them are like really confused. You know, a lot of people in New York, they don't even have a full belly. Some people go hungry. There's homelessness. There's a lot of crime. But instead, now the city is facing a massive population crisis. Too many people in a place like New York City is now just jam-packed with people everywhere. Okay? And if you check out some of these videos on X, this is what it looks like. Migrants who newly arrived in New York City are reportedly just peeing in cups, on people's doorstep. There's literally feces on the floor. Now, New York City may be famous with rats stealing pizzas, but it doesn't really see the San Francisco part, right? Where you have poop everywhere and pee everywhere. And this is what it is. This is like one of the parks in the East Village. This is supposed to be a place where there's a lot of tourism, a lot of residents come here with their dogs. Now it's just packed of migrants because the city don't know where to house these people. New York actually does a pretty fantastic job in housing the homeless. This is why in New York City, like Manhattan, you don't really see that many people outside with tents. It's actually fairly rare because they actually make the shelters. But this is the first time when they suddenly have an inflow of like tens of thousands of people, and now they can't handle all this traffic. And this is what you see. And if you look into the New York City migrant situation, just type in the words, guys. New York City migrants. It's just all over the place. Everyone agrees on one thing. The city is not prepared to handle this crisis at all. And it just seems that they just want to do it because they want to do it. And now they're kind of paying the consequences. At first, there's actually a lot of locals in New York and Denver that were actually down for this. But now nobody's down for this. It's backfiring. Cities are spending way too much money. And like I said, the quality of life in many of the cities have really, really went down. Thanks for watching, guys. Comment below. Hopefully these cities recover, but I'm not really sure. And subscribe for more.